All right, for the umpteenth time here, we're going to attempt to show you how to put these sunroof guides, rails, arms, and as the book is now calling them, ramps. Anyway, so this piece right here, back off a little bit, kind of pan over it, and it breaks. And as you can see, this one's broken right here. You can see this crack right here. Back off and show it like this. That's cracked. And the other one was I've already done was cracked. And what it'll do is these pieces of plastic, this little plastic track here, will break and it'll fall down into the actual slide mechanism here, and it'll jam it up. It'll literally stop your sunroof from moving. And this is why your F-150 sunroofs are sticking open or shut or vented or somewhere in between. So what they've done is release these new arms here, and we place them. So anyway, I've already got the sunroof glass out. Maybe I'll make a separate video. That's only 3 screws on each side, and you remove the little blind things. I might make a separate video to how to take that out. All right, come up and over top of it. Okay, so to take this off, there's a screw here and this little bumper which stops the forward motion. You just push down on the deflector and slide it out. Once you take, this is like a number 1 Phillips. A number 2 might get it off, but you also might strip it, so I use a number 1. And I just set it right here. The next thing is there's a screw here, and you pull this apart to move the trough guide out of the way, and there's another screw right there. That's a number 2 Phillips. You take that off. I usually take a pair of needle nose, pull this off, set it to the side. That allows this to move. The next thing we're going to do is, once this moves freely, we're going to pop this trough, come up over higher. We're going to pop this trough loose, and you just take a screwdriver, you can use a pair of pliers, wedge it in here, pop that loose, and it's out of the way. Done. Because remember, we're replacing this arm. All right, you see this hole? Pan over here somewhat. You see this hole? You see this round piece? It's got to line up perfectly. So by taking these screws out in the front, you're going to allow us to wedge this piece back and forth and line this up. And it's a very tight fit, but it'll pop through. Okay, so get up here. All right, so first thing, here's the number 1 Phillips. It helps to have a bit that is magnetic. All right, take it loose. I just set it over here off to the side. All right, so like I said, you push this down. If you have smaller hands, you can, see, there it is. That's just a little stopper, all it is. All right, so I switch bits to the number 2, and I take this one out, and as you can see, they're really tiny. All right. Can you see what you're filming?
No.
Okay. All right, see that pops right off. We set it to the side. So now we're gonna take a little screwdriver. We're gonna wedge this backwards, and we're gonna line that hole up with the round thing. Watch the round thing. All right. You line it up, and this is not an exact science. You just kind of eyeball it, get it close, and if you get it close, you can also move it with your hands a little bit. If you get it close, you can kind of, and all right, it popped loose. See? All right, now show right here. Back up. You push down on this, and you just grab the back of the rail and force it off. And there it is. The broken, oh, this whole piece is gone off of it. That's not good. I probably better look for that. I didn't see it in there. Okay, so we throw that away. Here's the new rail. I've already put some grease on it. You push this down. You kind of wedge it in that little slot there, and and it's not the easiest thing in the world to do sometimes. Then you should pull it back through. Oh, that one was tight. All right, now back over here. You're gonna line up the little round thing again, hole, and it usually just pops right through there. It's funny how that works. that'll go right through there, but when you're trying to get it off, not so much. All right, so up higher and over here. All right, so we're going to go, and what I like to do here is, even though I've still got my number 2 bit on there, I throw the number 1 back on there, and I put the little stopper back. You probably aren't going to accidentally run the guide, the rail, the arm, the ramp, whatever you want to call it, back out completely. But once you put this stopper in, you're definitely not going to do it. All right, so gently, you notice I don't go and jam it in there. It just takes a little bit of pressure. Otherwise, you'll wring it off or strip it. Okay, now these little tabs have to line up dead in the middle of this hole. So you can take a screwdriver, and that's, you eyeball it. It doesn't have to be 100% absolutely machinist level perfect, but it's got to be pretty close. All right, this, if you'll notice, they got these little tabs. It's got the little tabs right there, and they hook on there. So you just pop that down on there, and it'll more or less line up with the screws. You got your number 2 bit back on. All right, and again, don't wind it. You hold it in place a little bit. All right, there you go. As soon as it's snug, it's good. And these are so tiny, again, it helps to have a magnetic bit, although I guess you could do it by hand without it if it's the only one you're ever going to do. Okay, so that's on there. And we're going to put the trough arm here. There's a hole right here, and that's the one you popped off earlier. You just pop it back through. And the last thing, and I can't tell you how many times I've put this whole thing back together and forgot to wedge this out and do this little number back up, and wedge this out and pop that back in there, because this little tab moves this back and forth, which moves the sunroof trough. If you don't have it in place and you got the glass back down, you're not putting it on. Then you got to take the glass back down, and you're saying all kind of bad words because you forgot. So anyway, luckily I didn't forget right here. All right, this is done. This is all in place. The next thing you do, you put the glass back in, you tighten it, and you lower it one thing I almost forgot. This must be done with the glass in the vented position. Has to be vented or you can't do it. So you have to vent the glass and then take the glass out. I mean, you can take the glass out and then vent it if you want to, but it's just easier. The actual bolts are actually easier to get to if you take the glass out. So, I mean, if you vent it. So I'm gonna put the glass back on, start all 3 screws, which go there, there, and there. And if you go up, you'll actually see the whole thing. It's there, there, and there. Okay, and then you shut it, the glass, adjust the glass to where it's basically about level, like you had it. Just take note of where it was adjusted before. And then you're also going to clean and lube the seal in between this glass and this is this glass. This is the front of the back glass, and then this is the front glass, and you would clean off with a clean rail. I've got a video about how to do that, and lube it with silicone paste is the best thing. You can use DuPont Krytox. And then once you've got it on and adjusted, you do the programming, which I've also got a video for, or initialization. So anyway, hope this helps. And you can fix your own sunroof. By the way, you can buy these parts at the dealership. They're not all that much. I think you can buy them for, I haven't priced them customer pay, but I'm gonna guess for about $160 for the pair. Your mileage may vary a little bit from dealership to dealership. Sunroof Doctor, I believe, is also selling them. By the time you pay shipping, I think he's about the same price, but if the dealership doesn't have them, they do, and they ship like immediately when you buy something from them. So I'll give them a plug because I've used a lot of their other kits for the older style ones. So anyway, I hope this helps.